Hey there, my name is Rohit Kumar, and today we are going to discuss about a very important technology. And as you can see, that today's focus is software-defined networking. So, what is software-defined networking, and why it has been so important? Since last few years, I think it has become a kind of buzzword, and in industrial domain as well as in academic domains, lots of discussions, debates, as well as research is going on with respect to software-defined networking. So, in actual, what is software-defined networking? So, let's start with the basic definition. So, software-defined networking is a kind of approach for network management that enables the dynamic and programmatically efficient network configuration. So, whenever we are using some sort of network, it is always our practice to efficiently monitor, to take some decisions, and it helps us to improve the network performance in comparison to the traditional network management. Okay, coming down to SDN. So SDN is always meant to discuss the static architecture of the traditional networks and how we can improve the kind of drawbacks which are present in the traditional network management. So SDN attempts to centralize the network intelligence, and then it tried to disassociate the forwarding process. So point is that the whole intelligence of the network is centralized at the single point that is known as control plane, and the rest of the process means the only forwarding is supposed to be done at the data plane. So all the forwarding of the networking devices are supposed to be meant at a data plane level, and whatever the decision making component known as controller popularly, so that is supposed to be at control plane. Now, control plane might have one or more than one controller because considering the scale of the network, it is always considered not to have a single controller because single controller might become the single point of failure or some sort of DOS attack victim. Okay, so in this way, we can easily understand that how efficiently the SDN is going to scale with respect to the size of network. Now, what about the different sorts of issues and what are the different sorts of concepts related to SDN? So the most important concept that is related to SDN is open flow. Now, point is that open flow is proposed in the form of a protocol and it became a kind of standard. Then later on, considering its importance, the concept of software-defined networking came into picture. And it's a very common myth that people do think that because of SDN, open flow is there. No, because of open flow, SDN came into picture. Okay, so considering the open flow protocol, so open flow helps to move the packets in a software defined network efficiently, and it governs all sort of processes which are supposed to take place with respect to the software defined means reprogrammable network. Now coming down to different sorts of things, it means what sort of authors and how many different countries authors have been actively involved in software defined networking research. So let me tell you, in with respect to this particular subject area, more than 120 plus countries authors have been doing their research and have been publishing their research outputs in multiple reputed journals and periodicals successfully. So if you are planning to do research or you are trying to explore different or new fields for research, then believe me, in coming few years, networking is going to supposed to be taken over by this concept of programmability. Means network are supposed to be artificially programmable because artificial intelligence is also going to be reality soon in most of the domains, and in many domains it has become a reality already. For example, in many of the industrial domains, artificial intelligence is being used successfully. So artificial intelligence assisted software defined networking is a kind of domain, but for that you need to understand two different main technologies: artificial intelligence and software defined networking. So first, one by one, as the focus of today's this video is software defined networking introduction. So we are going to discuss about software defined networking only. In some of the next video, we'll definitely discuss about AI. So when we are discussing the software defined networking, so as I gave you the basic introduction, now coming to that, what about the topics? Because whenever you finalize a particular field, then what's next? So you need to finalize a particular topic in which you are interested. So for that, you need to do some sort of literature survey, and then you need to finalize a topic that I want to move into this particular field. Now, with respect to software defined networking, there are so many key keywords or the key domains or the key topics, if you want to say. So the most common is network function virtualization, because network function virtualization is quite similar to SDN, but point is that it is not the same, and it is a very common question also. So if you want to explore more, then you can Google it and have a kind of video or the audio lecture series also on network function virtualization. Simple concept is that every network function should be in a virtual form, and that gets enabled with the help of network function virtualization. Before SDN also NFV was there, and that's why SDN and NFV are two different things. But SDN based NFV is also possible. So that's why if you want to do that, then you can go for software defined network based network function virtualization. Secondly, in coming generation, 6G is going to be a reality soon. Means research has been started, but 5G is going to be part of reality, and 6G research has already been in process. So if you want to work on the futuristic networks, so obviously some fast and the futuristic networks enabling technologies you should discuss. So in this way, 5G or beyond 5G, B5G, and the 6G related networks, their communication technologies, etc. you need to explore. So with respect to SDN, you can explore that what is the role of SDN in coming 5G, beyond 5G or 6G network. Okay, so in this way, if you explore the SDN enabled 5G or 6G network, that is also a very good topic. Additionally, the wireless networks is a very big domain, because most of the technologies like your IoT, Internet of Things, in which we popularly say that what are things? So things are the very small devices which make the communication possible among themselves. And in this way, millions or the billions of small devices like your shoe, like your belt, like your cap, and like your hand watch, like your pacemaker. So these small devices, if they have some sort of capability to get connected to internet somehow, because we are also discussing the concept of IPv6. So IPv6 is going to make it possible. And in this way, so many small, low power consuming protocols have also been developed for IoT. And that's why there is a dedicated different stack than the traditional protocol stack. So now IoT is going to use its own new low power but efficient protocol stack for the realization of multiple things communication in real world. Okay. Now, in coming future, if we say that these all devices, these all things are supposed to communicate with each other, so obviously you can't have a wired network, because if you connect everything with wire, there will be so much chaos. So that's why wireless is the future. And nowadays also you see that wired networks has been very much in limitations, means they are so much in limited form, and there are so many associated disadvantages. So why not to move on to wireless network and explore the power of mobility? So mobility comes with wireless networks, and in this way, you can always get connected with internet or so many services, despite being having a very specific course of race or walk or something like that. Okay. Now point comes to that. In addition to this, what about means what is the kind of thing that is always present in every network? So security is the thing that is a kind of vertical aspect. Means security is present in every part, maybe whether it's a vertical aspect or it's a horizontal aspect, but security is going to be part of it. So point is that security can we incorporate the concept of security in SDN also? Obviously. So here comes the concept of security. So SDN based security implementation. So you may counter the concept of denial of service, etc. So many attacks, impersonation, etc., etc. Now, point is again come into the picture that when you are saying that denial of service. So denial of service means many people do say that it's a kind of theoretical attack. In actual, it is not possible, because with the help of cloud technology, now almost it is impossible to implement denial of service. Well, yes, but in few networks only. Means if a device is power sensitive or battery sensitive or resource constrained, then obviously you can launch a denial of service attack. But if a device or the system is backed up by the cloud computing resources, so obviously so many and so much resources are available at cloud servers, then obviously you are not in a position to make it down. Just launching some packets or buffering, filling the buffer, or you might think that we can make the denial of service happen. So it is not going to be the reality. and it is very difficult, especially on a public cloud network. So coming to the good discussion of SDN back, I was discussing that what are the related topics. So you may discuss the control plane based issues, you may discuss the data plane based issues. Additionally, the concept of virtualization, as I told you, network function virtualization is very popular. Now coming to the routing, because everything we are doing for efficient routing. So you can discuss the concept of multipath routing and then machine to machine communication, load balancing. Then the test bed implementations are very popular because if you are having some hardware or test bed implementation, it is going to put lot of impact. Okay, so coming down to all these issues, I think if you discuss all these things in particular, means any one of these topics in particular, then it is going to help you very well. And then you can explore different aspects like network management, network congestion, network configuration, packet loss, delivery ratio in different sorts of telecommunication network. Okay. Additionally, so many different funding bodies have been providing funds for different sorts of institutions and industries. And considering the location of the industry or the academia, the respective as well as respective governments or the international governments funds are available. So you can apply for the respective countries grants at least, if not for international, and then you can continue your research if you are independent researcher. Okay. Now coming to the publication activities, so many publications have been going on with respect to SDN, and recently in 2020 there was a bit down due to the activity continuously get explored, but because of Corona. So Corona hampered some of the things, but it is not a reality. Means some of the people do say that in Corona research went down or so many things got affected. But due to home-based works and so many electronic activity, means a major increase in electronic activity. So much research has also been happened in Corona time. So in 2020, some people say it went down, some people say it went up, but as per my realization, the research has continuously been on the rise, and it is true with SDN also. Okay, now coming to what are the some common journals, because whenever you write a particular work, you have finalized the domain, you have finalized the topic, you have written the manuscript and what's next. So the choice of journal is very important. And in this aspect, some of the major journals include the IEEE Transactions on Network and Service Management, IEEE Communications Magazine, Journal of Network and Computer Applications, Security and Communication Networks, then the MDPI Electronics, Computer Communications, ACM, Computer Communications Review means ACM Review, and then ACM, IEEE ACM Transactions on Networking, MDPI Sensors, etc. So if I say that so many journals are available, and these are just common some of them, so it is not wrong. Obviously you can explore more, and then according to your requirement, because I discussed only IEEE elsewhere and the ACM related some of the names, but additionally there are so many other publishers like Tiller and Francis, Hindavi, Wiley, IOP, the Optical Society, IGI, etc. Okay, so you can go for that also. But always, whenever you are going for publication, focus first thing whether the journal is SCI indexed or not. Secondly, what is the Q ranking? Means for best case, always go for Q1 ranked journal or minimum Q2. Don't go for Q3 or Q4. Third thing, that what is your impact factor. Okay, so impact factor comes last. First the SCI indexing, second the Q ranking, Q1, Q2, and in worst case Q3. Okay, and the last thing is impact factor. Now coming down to some of the top institutes, because so many different institutes are there in the world, and usually we discuss about the top 500 institutes which you see with respect to the research and all. But in my opinion, there are some new institutes also who are doing very good. So this is not about the ranking; it is about the research. So some of the well-known and new as well as the old institutes have been functioning in the field of software-defined networking, and they are publishing their work successfully. And some of them include the University of Science and Technology of China, then Tsinghua University, University of California Systems, the University of Electronic Science and Technology of China, then French National Center for Scientific Research, National Digital Switching System, Engineering and Technology Research Center, University of Bristol, then National Young Chartum University, National University of Defense and Technology, etc. Okay. Additionally, in India, IIT Delhi, IIT Bombay, IIT Kanpur, etc., and IIT Kharagpur means these are exploring the fields of networking, and some of the researchers have been working in the field of software-defined networking also. Now, point is that when we explore so many things, how should we get the basic idea that in which particular fields people are working, or in which particular fields people are exploring different sorts of contents with respect to SDN or any network technology. So you can always go for some of the recent or the latestly published articles. There you will get the basic idea that what sort of articles are in the process, and then you can go and have a check. So for example, if you want to check some of the journals, so my recommendation, you should always go to Google Scholar. So for example, I open Google Scholar, and here you open some sort of journal, for example TNSM, and then you open STM. So here you can see that it is the IEEE Transaction and Network and Service Management, TNSM. Okay, here is the name of the journal. You might be wondering that how did I get it? So here it is, the full name. Okay, it's IEEE journal, and it is based on the SG. So here these are the PDF links. So you can simply click on it and have the access to the papers, because many times you don't have the subscription based access availability outside, because you are not part of some world institute who is providing you the access, etc. So you may go to the Google Scholar or the Microsoft Academic, but Microsoft Academic got down recently, so now the popular choice is left only Google Scholar. Okay. Additionally, some of the other sources like SCI Hub, etc. are there, but those are not completely legal. So I will not give you a recommendation for that. Go for Google Scholar and you will find lots of related paper you can see here. Now, point is that when we are discussing the domain, so if you see that some of these top journals with respect to time, means latest journals. So if we filter it since 2021, so these are the available new journals. So here you can see the name that controller placement is a problem with respect to STM. Then here you can see the popular transient IoT content in SDN based infrastructure. Here is the problem. Then blockchain and other access control mechanism based applications in IoT and SDN. Okay, so in this way means some of the common problems on which people are working, you can have a very basic idea, and then you can decide should you go for publication into those particular kind of domains or not. Okay. Additionally, whenever you are looking for different sorts of analysis, then always do a better analysis with respect to the journal as well as domain, because with respect to every journal, you should also find some good domains, or with respect to some domains, you should find some good journals, because ultimately you need to publish your work. Okay, and if you don't get some good journal, then means it is not possible, I will say, because with respect to every domain, there are always some good journals, not in IEEE, not in elsewhere, but it is not in IEEE elsewhere also. There are journals with respect to almost every domain. And if you don't find in IEEE elsewhere, especially for mathematics people or something like that, then you can go for some other publishers like CIAN, etc. Okay. So in my opinion, this is the review for software defined networking. It is a wonderful field, and I will highly recommend you to go for it if you are interested in the field of networking. Additionally, if you have any doubt, you want to convey some message, then please let me know that what are your confusions, what sort of things you want to explore. Additionally, if you want to put some sort of comment, then please comment down below. Do criticize the video or the sort of techniques or the analysis that I used for this particular video. And please let me know that how I can improve the analysis of the future videos. Thanks for watching this video. Happy day. Thanks again. Happy learning.